to see you. All right. Let's see. We are live right now. Well, let me just make sure that it's good on Facebook and then I have to shut it down.
Okay.
Are we live? Are we live? Because then the echo is crazy. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Friends, if you see us live, all right, we are live. Just wanted to make sure you say hello. Say hello. If you're here, say hello. Can't post comments. We can't post comments. So, how excited am I to have my friend Ronnie?
Hi.
Ronnie Mena. We have to get this. This is the first question: is how do we say your last name? Because it's the most mispronounced last name ever.
I know. Ever since I was a kid, it's like it's Mena.
Mena, not Mina,
Mena, not
not
Mina.
Mina.
Definitely not Mina. If you say Mina, I'm gonna be Mina to you.
That's it. That's a great way to start. I was like, let's set the record straight because
Ronnie Mena.
Ronnie Mena. I was like, I always just slow down and go Mena. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me today for this hustle interview. As I shared with you, we have business owners in our group, and they're not all new. It's like a nice mix. Some very seasoned artists, and the cool thing is we've been working on what can we do to get better, make more money, and so on. And so I always love to hear people from our industry sharing their experience because it really there's I learn something new every time. Every time
Yeah.
I speak to my friends, like it's just this one little comment that a friend can share that can change the entire
Right.
experience or a mindset. And so thanks again
Thank you.
for joining me. And I'm excited because for those of you who don't know, I get to hang out with Ronnie at Art Fest coming up very, very soon. And
Exciting.
so Art Fest, August 22nd, with our shameless plug here. And Ronnie's going to teach us 2 classes plus a post-day class. So you're going to have a 4-hour class after the conference. If anybody, some people want to just jump for that class, they can. But if you are, you're missing out. You should do the whole experience. So all that information is available to you on the website and on Facebook and on all the places and all the things. And if you're not sure, just let us know. We're here to help. But I really just want to start at the very basic, and I wanted to know, like, how did you fall into this industry? Like I call it fall because it's no one like there's no chronological. Like I went to college and then I became a so and so. We stumble across this. So what got you into this creative
Well,
work?
like all like all great stories, it started with a Craigslist ad.
Really, it's interesting. Mm,
um,
you tell us
um,
more.
I answered or I saw a Craigslist ad for a theme park artist um, in 2009. And I was at Universal Studios. At the time, I happened to live right down the street from Universal Studios. And so I was like, I'm going to apply. I applied, thought nothing of it, didn't hear anything back for like a couple weeks. I remember when I got the call for the interview, I didn't even remember applying for it. I was like, what? I was like face painting because I thought I was thinking like caricatures. I don't remember, but I was like face painting. Okay, I need money. I need a job right now. At the time, I was like, yeah, it was between jobs,
How
and
old were
so,
you?
huh?
How old were you for us that are
I
not
was
counting? We're not.
26.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, sure, like I'll just go down to the interview. I'm gonna just take what I can. At that point, um, I was like, I'm just gonna try this out and then find something real once that comes along. And I went and saw what the job was, and I was like, oh, like at first I was like, no, this is not for me. And then I saw like what they were actually painting, and I was like, actually, like, wow, like this face painting isn't what I remember as a kid. Like this is actually really good and kind of cool. Like the quality of the work was really good. So I was like, okay, now I'm a little more interested. And then it all kind of happened there. I got hired on, and I worked at Universal Studios as a face painter for about 5 years.
Wow.
And in that time, I got to just really, I mean, practice every day, 5 days a week, 40 hours a week. It was a full-time job. Um, I ended up becoming a manager, and it was a lot of practice. And I just kind of fell into it. And then after that, once I left there, I started meeting other face painters outside of the parks and doing gigs and teaching, and it kind of just all started from that one Craigslist ad into this
That's hilarious.
wild little ride. I
And
still do it today.
so it's still, so is it a super fast learning curve working at a theme park? I mean, how
Um,
long does it take you to paint decent? A week? Like,
no,
no?
it was like I think it was about 2 weeks of training,
Hmm.
and then once I got into the park, it's like even if you're a great artist, like you still kind of suck, because it's
Sure.
like face painting is just a whole different animal. So I would say that maybe I would say a good few months before you're like, okay, like that's decent. When I think back on it now, I don't know. I probably was painting just crap, but I thought it was amazing. you know.
Hey,
So
that's half the job, is to think
that's
you're
how much.
amazing.
Yeah, right. I wasn't good at face painting, but I'm good at people. So I I think that counts for something.
I think it counts for more than half
Oh, for
to be
sure,
good
way
with
more.
people.
Yeah.
You can be an okay painter and still do really, really great business,
Uh
because
huh.
it's so easy to make the kids happy. But you have to be good with the people, the moms, and
For sure.
yeah, 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 for sure. It's more than half, for sure, for sure, for sure. But
Yeah.
that's wild. Like this whole theme park. Every time I walk by, we have Busch Gardens next to us, and every time I walk by, I'm like, these guys are working their butts off,
Oh
and
yeah.
they're getting paid minimum wage, maybe a tad more,
Mhm.
to stand there for hours in the heat.
For sure.
Here in Virginia, the amount of humidity, like you're sweating bullets all day, and they're
Yeah.
still, because they're getting hired so young, they're still excited and eager to do it. And
Yeah.
so, how does separating, like pulling away from the park, was it difficult? Like, is there a culture like, oh, you're cheating, you're leaving? How is that all? I'm curious.
Um, Not really. I mean, there was a like I at that point I was just like I've been here for 5 years. I think it's time for me to leave. I was already thinking about leaving, and then these other opportunities were kind of presenting themselves that didn't allow for like a full time or to spend all of my time there. So I was like, I'm gonna take advantage of these opportunities and just like go for it and see what happens.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
So
early 30s, young entrepreneur, right?
yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
adding the numbers correctly.
Yeah.
That's it's kind of brave, right? Making that leap from
Yeah. It was
guaranteed
kind of
pay to like full time on your own, hoping full time gigging. That's a
yeah.
big jump.
It was. It was very nerve wracking. When I think back on it, sometimes I'm like, I would did that. Like I just kind of like went for it, and I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but we'll see. Hopefully, like I just feel like I have to do this. If I don't do it, I'll never do it, and I'll regret it. So I just
That's
and
awesome. I
yeah,
think you have to have a little bit of optimism and recklessness in
a little,
everything. You're
a little crazy.
a little yes, yes. It's the common denominator. We're all in it together, for sure.
Yeah. Hmm.
So you paint. I'm not gonna. So you've been painting for quite a few years now.
Yeah. I think it's like.
And I have some funny questions. I wrote these questions in advance, kind of thinking like, okay, what do I ask someone that's been paint? You paint now. You're busy, right? Like, I may have to rearrange the order. So you were busy before. You were traveling like crazy, teaching all over the place, and
Mhm.
then a pandemic hit. What happens to Ronnie?
Um, a little bit of an existential crisis.
I like how you how you describe it. It's pretty sweet.
just a little boop. And a lot of stress. It was just I think daunting for everybody. It's like, okay, here's this thing that I've been doing forever, and now it just doesn't exist. So how am I going to deal with that? Um, I luckily had a, approached a job I went back to a job that I was working temporarily. And then when I saw it coming, like the pandemic, I just like, I was like, something is not happening. Like this, there's just, I can't ignore this anymore. Like I just, my gigs were getting
Felt weird.
canceled. And I was like, really? Like, at the beginning of the pandemic, I think we were all kind of just like, oh, like this is
2 weeks.
whatever, two
Take 2 weeks
weeks.
off. It's
Oh,
nice.
yeah. I remember at the beginning,
There.
I was like, what am I going to do for 2 weeks? Like, this sucks. And then like 2 years later, it's like,
I know. I can't believe.
I can't even like wrap my head around it. So I ended up having a full-time job that I worked at through the pandemic, because nothing to do with face painting. It was just,
Like a COVID
and
job. Yeah.
yeah, and so I luckily that got me through the pandemic, and I think that's um, a lot of people will ask me like, "Oh, don't you hate like working at like a normal job during the week?" And I think there's just tons of artists who have day jobs and still do art and other creative things all the time. I think it's super common, and I'm so grateful that it got me through the pandemic.
Right. I mean, I don't. This question's kind of silly. If someone asks you that, the answer should be, "Don't you love stability? Don't you love?
Yeah, don't you love money?
Don't you love getting your bills paid on
Oh,
time
the
and not
best.
being worried if I'm going to get paid or not, and not cheat?" I mean, there's definitely an upside. Health insurance,
Oh
some
yeah.
sort of a,
So
predictable. I know that by this date I'll have that much money in the bank.
there's a
There's
romantic, I get the romanticism of like being a full-time artist and like just doing, what you want to do, but like there is a trade-off. And the
Yeah,
stability.
it's a myth. Yeah, like I mean, we're all working hard, hustling, whatever it is. If it's your full time or your part time, it's
Yeah,
for yourself. You're always going to work more hours and get paid less. So
sure.
having some sort of a level of
It,
stability for me, it was for the longest time my husband Cliff, because I
mhm,
knew that I had insurance and I knew that there's a certain income that is good here and we're going to be okay, and that
right,
allowed me to be crazy beyond, and take some other risks that I probably would have not taken. So yeah, so having a
right.
full-time
I
job
can relate to
and,
that.
and choosing when to do what, I think
Sure.
it's and artists can totally take a break from being artists too sometimes. Like I feel like because it's such an emotional outpour, sometimes you feel like you're maxed out and that's okay too.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I agree.
what do you love about face painting?
What do I love about face painting? It's I love well, of course I love like, being creative and, meeting all kinds of people, being able to travel. It's allowed me to do some really cool things. Well,
Someone just wrote the money.
the money. I mean, that goes
I
without
mean,
saying.
yeah, I don't know who it is because they didn't. You have to with StreamYard. You have to kind of allow permission for me to see your name. So whoever wrote the money, thank
Oh,
you. You
yeah.
might want to write your name underneath.
Right.
I can't
Yeah,
see.
let's just get to it. That's it. Just the money. Hate
Just the
everything else.
money.
No, I'm just kidding. Of course, the money, right? Like, we wouldn't be doing it if we weren't.
Oh, it's Eva. Of course, it's Eva. Hi, Eva.
Hi, Eva.
And
Um,
two sticks.
I like the. That's funny. I like the chaos. It's just like the dichotomy of like face painting and then like the how crazy and how interesting every gig can be, the stories, like it's just it's there's an interesting dichotomy when it comes to face painting. Like I just, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you walk into like stranger's house
Walking, yeah,
in the
exactly.
middle of their whatever of lifetime event they're celebrating, and
Uh-huh. And I've yeah, I've been at like so many where I'm like, people would not believe me if they saw what was happening here. Like this is so, yeah, just all the different venues and places that it's taken me. Like it's just, it's kind of, it's fun. It's funny.
that's awesome.
All those things.
So, another question: how did our industry impacted your life? Like, aside from obviously money.
The money. um, it gave me a way to like the first taste of like being creative and monetizing it in a significant way, to where it gave me like more confidence as an artist and as just like a more business sense.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of changed my life in a way. You know, I met like so many different people. I have friends, like dear friends that I've met through face painting, and yeah, it impacted my life in that way. Those are the two most significant, I would say.
Teresa wants to know if you can tell us a story, an example of what could be something we wouldn't believe that happened to you in there.
Let's see. Well, like one time I was at a gig and it was just like a kind of it was like somewhere in the west side of LA, and um, it was like a charity gig, and it was long. It was a nice day. It was just kind of like very chill, and then all of a sudden, like they were like, our next presenter, Lady Gaga, and I was like, what?
No
Like,
way.
yeah, and I was like, huh? I was like, oh, I was like that vampire lady in the pink pantsuit, like that's Lady Gaga. What the heck? Like,
No
and
way.
like
Was it
no way,
really
like
her?
it was really her, yeah.
No
And she got
way.
up and she gave a speech. She like had donated money to she was it was the Born This Way Foundation, I think it was called, and yeah, so just crazy things like that. Like when I tell people, like they're like, oh, you went and did face painting today? I'm like, yeah, like I saw Lady Gaga. They're like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, you know, it's just
That's
that.
incredible. I have a story of getting kicked, but that's not as
Oh,
good as
yeah,
that.
there's also those stories, like, you know, you're face painting and someone like sneezes in your, you know, face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Oh, but
Eva just said money, money, money. That's a different band, but it's still a good song. Oh my gosh, that's funny. So, what is your favorite kind of gig?
um,
If you had to pick, like what gigs you would like to do, what's your favorite kind?
my favorite kind, I really like the whole like festivals and like fairs
Oh, really?
kind of gig. I do like them. They remind me of the like working in the theme park. You know, it's like it's long, it's hard, but like on your body and everything. But it's just um, the money's good if it's when it's really good. You know, if you're doing like a pay per face, it can be just as good as getting paid your hourly rate. And I don't know, just like the people watching and the craziness of it all. You know, like the Texas State Fair, like that was one of my favorite gigs.
Oh,
Just
that's
because,
right. You went and did it with Mark, right?
yeah, you really like bonded with everybody there, and you kind of feel like a little like family for like a month, and like you go through this crazy experience with all these crazy people, and um, I don't know, I just like it.
That's interesting. I didn't think that would be your answer. I thought you're more of like a going to people's houses kind of guy. I don't know why. There's no
No,
reason for me to think
I
that.
mean, it's the most like that's the most common thing, right? Birthday parties, going to people's houses, and those are fun too. But I really like um, painting people and never seeing them again. No, I'm just kidding.
The art of letting go, as I call it. It's just like, here you go, bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Bye. Hope you like it.
So is that also your biggest money maker, you would say? Like that's where you
Oh
kind of the biggest bang for the
no,
time?
no. I think it's always going to be just getting paid hourly and doing birthday parties, right? Those are the ones you do the most.
I don't know. As far as money makers, I have pretty
Well, I guess
determined to make
consistent.
that per hour. I
Yeah,
guess the consistency.
yeah, the consistency, and I,
Texas State Fair, you guys probably made
it was
more,
good.
more than your hourly rate if you were in a party eventually. No,
It's been so long. Yeah, maybe about. It was good. Hmm.
right? Well, you obviously have the dead hours before, after, and kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to
What's
quantify.
the going rate in California for a face painting for a birthday party?
Around like 125 to 150 an hour.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. It's here too. It's about 120. Well, we raised it to 125 because I was like, no.
Yeah.
What does inspiration look like for you? Where do you draw inspiration for your art in general?
For my art in general, I would say comic books, cartoons, things that I loved as a kid, those are probably the two. My favorite artists. There's inspiration everywhere, like Instagram, other artists that I follow, tattoo art.
Yes, that's
Um,
interesting.
yeah, those
For
are some.
face painting, do you have like some people that you follow that are face painters in our industry, or it's
Yeah,
more for your?
yeah, definitely. Like, there's tons of people. Eva. I mean,
She's pretty impressive with those pinstriping. I can't wait to take her class.
I know. I can't wait to go. I can't wait to go. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Yeah.
So how do you think, like, how did you develop your style? And do you think like it happened more of like as an evolution from the park, or is it something that still evolves? Like, did
I
you have
think
like,
that. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, I'm gonna keep going afterwards.
Definitely the park. That was kind of like the foundation of the style. Most of the people who worked at the parks kind of all have like a similar style that you can identify. And then I think just working there and working with other artists, we all just sort of started to like bring our own influences and styles to like these same set of faces.
Mhm.
And then, um, having so much practice, you just kind of put yourself into all of those designs. And then after the parks, even now, because I don't just do face painting, I'm also, draw and paint on my own. I can still see my um, face painting style kind of change sometimes, like depending on what I've been practicing or if I've been doing more like observational drawing in my own time. Um, I've even had some people like when they've taken my classes recently tell me like, "Oh, your style has changed. I can see the difference in the way you do the way you face paint now." And I think it's because of that. Just
Right.
it's
There's a certain process of evolving, getting better. The miles
yeah,
on the beach, right? I
for
feel it
sure.
too. And definitely standing next to someone that paints next to you, I still feel like I always try to pick up something, especially from people that are better than me. Like I'm like, all right, what's the trick today? I'm gonna
Yeah,
just copy
sure.
something and like look to the side and kind of try and pick up a new trick. But it
Yeah,
kind of all or seeing something over and over on social media, seeing those lines actually is almost as good as practice. Um, and
yeah,
I kind of so it's not a surprise. So those who may take your class moving forward may get a completely evolved the new kind of style that's what you gravitate towards now, right? That would be correct assumption.
yeah. I definitely
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Mhm,
it's not going to be
sure.
the same for sure.
No.
Um, so in California, in your area where you are, can a face painter make a living as a full-time job?
Um, I mean, I think that a lot of the face painter, I don't know if it's possible to just do face painting. That's it. That's the only service that you provide
Mhm.
and live in LA unless you, I don't know, have roommates and live with your boyfriend or your girlfriend and your family. A lot of the face painters that I know, they and if that's if doing gigs is their only source of income, then they have kind of diversified what they offer. So they do face painting, they do balloons, they do airbrush tattoos, they do all of these other services, and that allows them to do it full time.
Did you ever feel like you may want to add any new tricks, or are you pretty happy where you are?
I'm pretty happy where I am. I've gotten some other people that I work with telling me like, why don't you just learn balloons? Just learn 10 balloons, and I'm like, nope,
Nope,
you're not gonna get
not my
me.
thing.
Not me. I'm just gonna slip out. You're not gonna get me. I'm not doing balloons. I'll stick to what I'm good at, which is drawing and painting. But I can't. I can't. I just
Just not connecting to it. No,
it's just not for me. There are
right. No,
some, and let me just say, there are some amazing balloon artists,
right.
and yeah, amazing ones here too. So Heather Balloon Works, like she's amazing. Oh my god, like stuff. I work with her and I look at her making balloons, and I'm like, you might get me. Like you might make it. Like that one was pretty cool.
You teach me that, and
Yeah,
maybe
can you
we'll
teach
talk
me
about it.
that? Like that's
Uh,
cool. Yeah,
of
yeah.
course, and once you get good at something, I have this theory that if you're a creative person and if you have a
Sure.
little bit of ADHD, is like learning curve sucks. So once you find your jam and you're happy at something and you feel so comfortable in it, to
Mhm.
now drop back to that beginner stage, it's like no,
Oh
it's
yeah, for
not.
sure.
It's it's uh it's emotionally tough. Like to say, all right, I'm a rock star here, but I'm going to be a really beginner now for
Yeah,
this.
for
And like
sure.
I always see it at the art factory. I was like, all right, the learning curve. No one likes the learning curve, but we gotta kind of do it. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm always amazed by the joy that it brings to kids. And Ryan Lavallee, he's Lavallee, I just butchered his name, Ashley's husband. He's probably one of the most incredible balloon artists I've ever met and seen in my life. Like it's just unbelievable the creations he made. He made me a giant wearable llama for my birthday. I don't know if you saw that picture
Oh, that's
circulating.
cool.
I wore a purple llama and pranced around the art factory. It's a
Nice.
true story. But it's just unbelievable. But and so I see the joy and the magic it gives to the kids, and that's what attracts me the most, the ability to make kids feel so awesome. Like I think that's the biggest return on our efforts. And but yeah, it's tough to like start at the beginning. I'm not there either, so I can totally relate to that.
Yeah, nobody wants to suck at anything, and you have to.
No, especially after you rocket stuff.
Yeah.
That's that's what I kind of want to talk about. So I'm going to ask a question I didn't tell you I'm going to ask, and that's tell us about your unicorn book. Your book.
Oh, my unicorn book is right here.
Look at that.
This
You were
one? This
prepared, that
one?
one. Yes. Tell us about your book. Like, I
So,
want to know the story. I mean, I know the story, but I want you to tell the story about your book. Can you tell us
the
the
story
story?
about my book, like
Yeah.
how, okay.
How'd it come
Well,
about? Why unicorns? I want to know all the things.
this happened because of the pandemic. And I know it didn't happen during the pandemic, but the idea came to me. Well, I mean, it happened because during the pandemic, I was spending a ton of time on my iPad and Procreate. I got an iPad that like was it like December 2019. So then pandemic happened like 3 months later, and I started just doing all of these illustrations in Procreate, and it got me like mentally like through the pandemic, just making all these drawings. And I remember I did this drawing, which is the cover of the first book that I did on my own. This is not as good as this one.
Well,
But
all
this
for your
drawing,
drawings, so don't, you
yeah,
know.
this drawing, I remember I did it and I was like, somebody commented and they were like, you should make a coloring book. I would totally be into that. And I was like, I should. I'm going to make more drawings and just, see what happened. And kind of like the seed started there. And then last year, before I went to the art factory, um, I told you that I had brought a coloring book that I had made. I just made like 10 copies and they all sold. And I was like, oh, okay, that was cool. And then you had the the um, the generosity and
No, no, I just had the bravery. I think
the
that's the only
you saw
difference.
like bigger picture. I know how to help. You helped me
Yeah,
make
well,
this.
I'm a graphic designer, so for me,
Yeah,
printing things are very easy, and that's really what I saw is I saw the magic you created, and I just said, "I know how to produce it." That's
yeah.
all. Like, there's really nothing of mine in there. I just set up the file. Like, there is
Here's a
none of
flip.
there's I was like, and
This
in my
hello,
opinion
this font is not by accident, okay? If
not
it
by
were me or somebody else, we maybe have like papyrus on here.
no.
Not me, somebody else. I would never choose papyrus.
Oh
Can
my
you
God.
imagine if this was like in Comic Sans? Oh,
Oh no. I just walked out of the movies because we went to see Thor. And they have now the new Avatar commercials. And I'm like, oh my God, here it is again. It's updated slightly. I literally shook my head. I'm like, there goes that hideous font. But yeah, only a few will know. Only a
Yeah.
few will know. That's so
But yeah,
funny.
so we got together, and I had so much fun making this book and doing all of these, making all of these illustrations. It was just like a joy. Like every day I came home from work and I would stay up and draw and redraw, and it was just like such a fun project, and I love it. And everybody in my family, all my friends love it. Like and
It's
everybody.
adorable. And I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, you got to check it out. It's online. And it's also, you can see the pages on Ronnie's TikTok,
Uh,
which we totally have to plug in here too, because you flip through the book quite a bit. It's
Don't you
incredible.
want to color this? You want to color this? You
Yes.
definitely want to color this.
Yes. It is beautiful.
Yes.
Every single page. And every time I would look at the pages, I was like, okay, this is my favorite. Nope. This is my favorite. Nope. And
Yeah.
they're all magical. And so thanks for letting me be part of this. I was
Oh,
just
you.
really excited. So
While I
so
was
we
making it, I felt like I was like making it for my childhood self. I was just like, this is for you.
yes. And that's and Eva said she wanted that. I'm guessing it's Eva, the Facebook user without a name. She would like that tattooed on her. And actually wanted to know what you
Only if she
got
gets
since
right here.
June. Um, what is oh, how did the industry change? Like, if you had to kind of like step aside and look at our industry, how do you
Mhm.
think it changed since you started? What are like the changes that you see?
Well, I think that social media definitely changed it because before Instagram, um, I would post on like Deviant Art and like sometimes on Facebook, but it wasn't until Instagram where it really kind of like took off. Like I saw like there weren't a lot of people. I didn't know anybody outside of um, theme parks that did face painting.
Oh wow.
I think
Hmm.
that like there's so much more information out there now on how to do what we do. So that would be like the biggest change that I see is just there's just so much information like readily available in all these different avenues, and people can learn everywhere. Um, I think there's a lot more painters because of it, and there's a lot more people to admire and learn from, and yeah, I think that's. What do
Were
you
you
think?
ever worried to like run out of work in your area because of competition?
Oh no, never. I mean, there's so much work, and really, the more painters there are, at least this is the way I see it. Like the more, if I meet somebody new, like if I do a class in LA and I meet somebody new who like has good energy, is like I'm like, okay, that's another person who's going to send me out on a job. You know, and the more connections I make, like the more money in my pocket. That's the way I see it. You can't be everywhere and do everything, and I'm the type of person who like I or not that person, but like I love working for other people. I'm like, yes, I will work for you. Give me money. I like money, and yeah, I mean, I
Do you
think
find
that
it easier, like an easier if someone else
oh,
sends
for
you the
sure.
job?
I mean, like sometimes dealing with um, sometimes you just don't feel like dealing with a client or not dealing with a client, but you just show up, you know,
Right.
you just show
I'm
up.
I'm the talent. Yes.
And then if you're really good, you'll get paid. You're really good and you have a really good personality. Maybe you'll get tipped and make the same amount you would have if you had booked the gig yourself. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right. I
That
love this. I love this point of view, and I don't think it's common. I think our industry could be kind of cat-like, and some people are really worried about competition. I hear a lot of stories about, I live in a small town and there's just way too many of us, and I always bring the examples of like one street with many bars. I was like, there's all surviving, and there's many kinds for many people. And I think personally that the more we do what we do, the more we increase the demand. We create and expand the market by exposing the service to more people.
yeah, if you're upset that like there's more than one face painter in your area, you're not the only one, or there's too many, like then I mean, maybe you should try to capitalize on those relationships and, make friends. But then maybe you're not good at people.
Maybe. It is a skill. It is a skill.
It is a
Or
skill.
maybe practice your heart out until you're just so excellent that everything else doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
think that self-worth has a component in it.
Mhm.
And that comes from doing something really good. Like you can either do something really good, um, or I mean, sometimes you find yourself worth in other places. But as an artist, as we tend to kind of wear our heart on our sleeve, it's always says like find your confidence in whatever it is, believe that you're good, and then everything kind of
Mhm.
falls in place. And so does friendships. I do believe that the community is so so important.
Yeah.
And so I ask, I have this funny question here. Are you a drama llama or a no drama llama? I just really need to know this. I mean, I think I know the answer, but I figure I'd ask anyway.
I mean, of course, no, was it no drama llama?
Are you a no drama?
No drama llama. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, if find yourself in that situation where you're surrounded by drama, maybe you should assess the company that you keep and go touch some grass.
Is that why you left Facebook? Is that like tell us? We need to know. This is
I
like
mean,
this should be
with
mentioned. This is a rare moment. Ronnie's in Facebook, but not really.
well,
We're
Facebook. I
streaming
mean,
live.
it, it's just yeah. I was like, it's just too. I found myself using it less, obviously, because Instagram was just like way bigger and just nicer looking. And then I just was like, why am I posting on here? This seems redundant. And then also it was just like less about like the feed just became just reposts of like crap and like opinions about things that I don't care about, and I was just like, yeah,
I'm out. Peace.
I don't really need to be here, and it just yeah, like it's just social media is like kind of. I think everyone should use it intentionally because like yeah, when I think about Facebook, I think about that scene in Poltergeist where like all those like ghosts and demons are in that room, and then like she opens the door and she just hears like, and then she like, ugh.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. Yeah, and it's so
Yeah.
it's not a choice even for me. We have to be on Facebook. I feel like, especially for networking, our industry is I always
Well,
look at Facebook by age. Our
Facebook.
age,
Yeah. Go
we
ahead.
have more like the majority of our customers are sitting on Facebook. But if we think about our target audience, who do we want to hire us?
Hmm.
They may be on Instagram and TikTok
Oh, I'm
because
sure. I can.
moms of younger kids, they're done, right?
Yeah. Like I don't know. Yeah. I don't really know a lot of. I can't imagine that a lot of people are still using Facebook like that are my clients, unless they're. I don't know.
So do you
Yeah.
get DMs on Instagram and TikTok about gigs? Do people find
On Instagram, yeah. Instagram definitely get a lot of inquiries on gigs and stuff. Facebook, I never really did very much, but it's mostly through my website
so
and
your website
just
that
through like, word of mouth because I've been doing this for so long. So it's like, hey, you did like so and so's party. I really liked it. Like, you know, blah blah blah.
so that's where you capture most of the gigs. People find you
Yeah,
on
and then
Google.
other artists, because since I work full time, I can't really like I don't really have the time to answer every single email that comes through like really quickly. So of course, like people are calling, I might miss a call. So and I understand that because I can't dedicate all of my time to it. So my relationships with other people in LA or other event planners and things is really important because um, I'm able to make money doing it that way.
So you're working around the clock basically. You're full time during the week, and then your weekends are dedicated for gigging, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like to work.
I get it.
I like stability, and I love having my bills paid.
Yes, understood all of it. If you had to think of where would you like to be in the future? I don't like the 5 years plan, but like I'm not like a planner, but I always kind of have a vision of what life could be in a few years from now. Do you have one like that?
I do.
Hmm.
I have been very interested in breaking into tattooing. I feel like it makes sense for me, and it's something that I've always been interested in, but it's just seemed like a very daunting kind of task because the culture around tattooing, not so much anymore, but before just seemed very like bro, kind of like, not very welcoming, sort a certain type of person or a group of people. And I feel like now there's just like so many more different types of tattooers and, you know, way more like women and queer people. And I just like, yeah, I feel like it makes sense. And I really, really want to. I've been working on a portfolio, which you saw.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I saw it on TikTok. If you
I've been
guys,
putting it out there. I've reached out to a few, got some no's, but that's okay because I'm just gonna keep bugging people until I find the one who will.
it is interesting that it's a tradition passed on from one artist to the next, and not necessarily a skill you can sign up to learn in some sort of a,
Yeah,
like makeup schools. There are special effects schools. Why aren't
right.
there more of an institutional kind of platform? And maybe that's your thing. Become a tattoo artist and open a tattoo school.
Maybe right. Yeah,
Change
I mean,
it.
it's like,
Once you're in there, can you change it?
yeah, right. Yeah, there's, yeah, people have a lot of different ways that they've gotten into it, so I'm just like trying to figure it out.
There is one more question here by Teresa. She wants to know, do you have any gig wear for parties? Like, what do you find? What does Ronnie wear when you go on a gig?
First, I get my wig. No, I.
That could be.
Can
You just gave me a great idea. I have a little
you
mermaid
imagine if I
in
showed up at a gig
Utah.
with like a wig that looked like your hair?
My hair?
I was just
Yeah.
like,
I think no one no one would think twice. Maybe
I
that filter.
just like two braids.
My hair is so crazy long. It's like I didn't cut it since the beginning
Yeah.
of COVID, so it's crazy, like crazy long. But
In this like
ready.
LA, the LA standard, at least all the people that I work for know all black, which like sometimes, which is like you look like a makeup artist. It's very like clean, like professional looking. Sometimes I'm like, it's giving like funeral, like, um, yeah. So it's just black. Like I usually wear like a black short sleeve, like button up shirt or polo, and then just like black, black jeans, black boots, or
Oh wow, yeah. Even in the summer and it's super heat, you're
in the
moving
summer,
boots
yeah, sometimes. I mean, sometimes I'll wear shorts, but like most of the time I won't. I'll wear pants. I'll suffer through it.
because it feels more like
I just feel like I look more put together and more like formal instead of like shorts are like really casual, and sometimes you don't know like what kind of party it's gonna be. So I feel like I
right. It's
always,
more
yeah,
put together. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
And I'm used to the dry heat, painting outside at Universal and living in LA my whole life. Like I'm used to it.
Well, here in Virginia, it's going to be 90% humidity. So bring some.
Fun. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's very humid here right now. It's been kind of brutal, but we're just sitting in the AC. Any other questions? Feel free to post them here in the feed below. I'm excited to see you. I know we were we're just hanging out, but um, I'm excited for this time together because I think what happened to us last year. So for those of you who are not aware of the whole story, we put together Art Fest because of the need to be together. Like I think that one of the most exciting things that happened to me as an artist is finding my tribe and spending time together with people that get excited over the same things um, and so it's kind of like I don't want to say safe in my environment, but inspiring. I felt so recharged and so fueled with positive energy and love. And for 3 days, I didn't get to really worry about a pandemic and if people are going to get sick. And I was able to kind of just kind of push the stress out of the way and really just sit down and enjoy time with friends and create together. And it was all okay. Like we were okay, and we were all being very creative. Like the entire group was very creative, and everybody laughed. And it's that uplifting these days just kind of pushed me for so long afterwards. I was able to retain this energy for so long. And that's why it's so important to me to do this again. Like this is why we're doing this, just for this feeling. So that's really what I'm most excited about. It's almost like it's like the high when you go to the gym. Like after going to the I don't really go to the gym enough, really. It's I was high like this for days, for weeks.
Yeah.
So
It was like it was a return to like something normal and just so fun. It was so
and
fun.
normal was like day drinking and yeah, blood and airbrushing. You
Day
know?
drinking and blood. I mean, they go together, right?
Yeah, we did it. We did it all.
Blood if you're gonna get drunk before 3.
So I'm excited that you're joining us again and very thankful for it. Eva said, I can't wait to see you all. We call it camp now.
We're going to camp.
We're going to camp. I'm
Camp
excited. I do not want to be camp director, but I that's funny. No, we already are, but it's we love doing it. Teresa, are you joining us? I get to Teresa's coming. Teresa Rose is coming. And she's gonna take your class. That's awesome.
Awesome.
So want to talk about your classes real quick? I don't know if I remember all of them. A line
Yes.
work one, that's the one I'm sitting my butt in for sure.
Do a class on well during the event. I'm going to be doing a class on line work and a class on monsters and skulls. So the line work class, I'm going to focus on obviously teardrops, swirls, you know, how to create like really good flow, line weight. Be talking about all that stuff. I think those are like some really important fundamentals to have, especially as a face painter. And then Monsters and Skulls, that one I'll be doing during the event as well. And we're going to be going over highlights, shadows, all the crazy Halloween stuff, all that fun stuff. And then I'm going to be doing a workshop, a post workshop on dragons and dinosaurs, which I'm excited about because I've never done a class dedicated to just those things, and I really love painting them, and people seem to really enjoy them anytime I post anything. And so they're just like really fun designs that are very like dragons are just it's like a very versatile like character to paint. You can add all kinds of different colors and details and different placements, and I think it's a good character to know how to do and will make you better because of the way all the different ways you can place it on the face.
That's
So
cool. I struggle with these. Like if someone asks for a dragon, I'm like, but
yeah.
I don't paint enough. I'd taken your class and you showed me how to do it once, but I'm going to learn it again. I think there is something to be said about being ready for the information when it comes. And
Sure.
so sitting in a beginner class or a more of a, actually, I should not use the word beginning, fundamental class after you've been painting for a while can suddenly have like an aha moment and like fix so many things you've been maybe doing wrong for a while. And
Sure.
so I'm going to sit and learn how to paint a dragon and I'm sitting in
All right.
that class for sure. I already made note that I'm not working that day. I'm going to sit. I'm going to skip between your class and Andrea's class and just
All right.
try to learn as much as I can. So I'm excited. So thank you. I don't know if anybody else have any questions, but we've been chatting for like good 45 minutes.
All right.
Thanks for taking the time. I really think that sometimes when we get together, it's hard to really get to know an artist and kind of understand their point of view and when they're coming from, and just allowing me to spotlight you and your art before you come is really exciting. And also, share your experience through hardship, which was, crazy for all of us. So thanks again for joining me. And thank you guys for joining in, all hustlers in the group. I will see you next week, and I'll see Ronnie in August. And if you have any questions, you can always post them below. Or one more thing, Ronnie, tell us how we get a hold of you Your handle on Instagram is
You can find me at Ronnie Paints on Instagram and TikTok, and you can find me at RonnieMena.com.
awesome. So RonnieMena.com.
Ronnie
Mena.
Mena.
I'm gonna say it.
That's right.
RonnieMena.com. No, I say it fast. I say it correctly for a while now, but I think about it every time it makes me giggle. And so your handle is the same, Ronnie Paints on TikTok and on Instagram. You guys got to go see some of the beautiful art that's not only face art on it on TikTok specifically. There's some pretty amazing designs there. And Eva just plugged RonnieMena.com. She posted it right there. We will put it in the group as well. And Ronnie Paints with a at Ronnie Paints.
Yeah.
So thanks again. Have a great evening. We'll see you soon. And thank you guys for chiming in. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye.
Bye.